mine ran into the chamber shortly after me. He was already covered in blood, but Marius followed behind him and took him to the ground by slicing his sword down the man's spine. Our cousin fell to the marble floor and sobbed desperately. "Prince Marius, please! I am your kin, please!" Marius said nothing to his begging cousin, simply slammed his blade through his back and directly into his heart, ignoring the fact that the old king's body was still in his bed. I covered my mouth, terrified I'd cry out. I was not meant for battle. I was not meant for war. I was simply a chronicler. I took notes of the old king's life, but each king picked his own chronicler, and Marius would not want to have anything that once belonged to his father except his throne and his crown. Marius finished his work and straightened. I moved farther back around the pillar, praying he wouldn't search the room, but he didn't leave, and I knew he was coming for me. Then the gods must have heard my prayers, because that sweet voice rang out. "Marius, where are you?" "Mother?" "Oh, there you are." I peeked around the pillar again and watched Marius's mother enter the old king's chamber. Mela had been the old king's lead consort because she'd given birth to his first son. The old king never married, so Mela was as close as the subjects had to a dowager queen, and, unlike the other consorts, she'd lived almost like a queen, because when the old king needed to entertain, it was Mela that he always had by his side. That also meant she had ample gold and jewels, and could purchase anything she liked whenever she liked. Her gowns were always the most beautiful and glamorous, her hair artfully done. It also helped that Mela had managed to keep her beauty. "Mother, what are you doing here? You are supposed to be in the safety of—" Another cousin ran into the chamber, mace swinging. Mela quickly ducked, and Marius blocked the weapon with his sword before slamming his dagger into the man's belly. Again and again, then slitting his throat for good measure. "Mother, you need to go back to my soldiers. They will protect you." "I needed to speak to you, and it cannot wait. Besides, most of your brothers are either dead or gone. The castle is ours. Still, I'd feel better if—" Another screaming soldier ran into the chamber, sword above his head, ready to strike Prince Marius. The soldier wore the colors of Prince Cyrus, and was ready to die for the man he hoped would be king. Marius raised his weapons again, but Mela held up her hand to stop him, and, a few seconds later, the soldier stopped in his tracks, his sword still raised above his head. He coughed, blood shooting out of his mouth. Mela gave a small laugh, covering her mouth as the soldier fell forward, dead. "Mother, what did you do?" "I poisoned the soldier's well. Oh, don't look at me that way," she complained. "We both know I could never stay out of this. I've been waiting since your birth for you to ascend to the throne. This is my fight." "Wrong. This is our fight. Do you really think all my other sons actually died accidentally?" "No. I took their lives because it was my right as their mother to do so. I couldn't get near your other half-brothers because of their mothers, but I knew when the time came you'd be able to handle the rest. And here you are, doing a brilliant job, so allow me some fun." The sound of more battling soldiers in the hallway had the prince pulling Mela closer, moving in front of her. "Just tell me what's going on and make it quick, please." "A messenger arrived not too long ago from the witches of Amun." I was surprised by that. The witches of Amun usually stayed in their mountainside fortress, reading their books and keeping their tallies. They didn't dance naked in the moonlight. They didn't sacrifice bulls in the early hours of dawn. They didn't make potions for love or revenge. But despite all that, their declarations had power. Even the old king respected what they had to say. And what they had to say must have been important for Mela to leave the safety of wherever her son had placed her. "What do they want?" the prince asked. "They have called to the gods and—" One of the prince's uncles charged into the room, but he was older and didn't move as he once had. Marius took his